Hey there, I'm Matt, the creator of a new adventure platformer called Echoes of the Unread for the NES. Yeah, the original Nintendo Entertainment System. It's now a game console old enough to have a midlife crisis. Anyway, the development of the game went something a bit like this. Oh, sorry, too fast. Let's start over from the beginning. 2016. What a year. I started working on a ROM hack of the original Super Mario Bros. It was a gift I was making for my sister's birthday. I thought it would be neat to fill a game with all the things she enjoys, so I started by replacing enemies and power-up graphics. What about cupcakes, coffee, and chocolate? Maybe I could make this game about running to get coffee instead of saving a princess. So I named it Beccas Mocha Run and replaced the title screen graphics. But I wasn't satisfied. Oh no, I needed more. I wanted my own levels. I didn't want Bowser, so I needed a new boss. I wanted to replace the old physics with something snappier. I required something completely different. And that comes with some assembly required. So I started by changing the level layouts and turned the castle at the end of the level into a quaint little coffee shop. Most of the levels had been done by hand, so I decided to convert to a different level format so I could use a tile editor. But then I started to run out of space, so I switched to a different mapper and figured out bank switching. And I thought, the coffee setting is neat, but what if it was set in a library? My sister and I both enjoy going to the library and checking out books, and it's how I learned how to program as a teenager in the 90s. I could make the game about jumping into books at the end of each level. Each area could be a new book genre, and the game could be split into chapters. And I could add my own music that I wrote for the game. But adding all of this on top of a ROM hack started to get a bit glitchy. Random crashes would happen when I added features, and bugs popped up everywhere. I kept running into more roadblocks, and I'd hit a bit of a breaking point. Why not start from scratch? I mean, how hard could it be? I've made platformers before. I can code in C. I used to know how to do a handstand. I mean, the point is, if I started from scratch, I can make exactly the game I want to make. Although, it is more work. Like a lot more. But who cares? It'll be fun. First thing I need to add is collision. Perfect. That'll do nicely. And then it would be nice to load in levels and enemies. Nice. Animations back in. Scrolling is working great. I mean, as long as you want to move to the right, that is. This is looking perfect. Why don't we get the rest of the graphics back in and... Whoa! This is looking like a game. You can even jump into the books and everything. And instead of shooting fireballs, why doesn't my character sing music notes? But this is mostly a tech demo, and I need levels. Plus, this character is feeling a bit dated and could really use a little update. Hey, not bad. Of course, by this point, 2 years have already passed, and I am long past my original deadline of getting a present to my sister. Turns out she was happy enough with the coffee ROM hack. But the pages were starting to turn on this little library game. Maybe I could even turn it into a full game. Yeah, I didn't know where I was going with this game. It was a lot of glued together nonsense. Plus, a game in a library? I mean, everyone knows gamers can't read. Or is it that they don't want to?
2 years later.
It's already 2020, and COVID-19 has hit, and I have nothing to do in the evenings. So why not get back into NES development again? I know! I could make a better scrolling engine for the NES. Only this time, you not only go right, but you can go left as well. And maybe I could rip off a different classic this time. Make something more like Metroid? Now that's what I'm talking about. It's got guns, and enemies, and doors, and... Oh, hang on. What if... And hear me out. This might be a crazy idea. No, seriously. I really like these doorways. You know, I can almost picture them somewhere else. Somewhere with spiders and worms, perhaps? And plenty of paper. And you guessed it, set in a library. Yep, I backported the new scrolling engine to this silly little library game that refused to go away, because I felt like it still had potential. First, I needed to make sense of what I already had, and you may have noticed that this looks nothing like the final game. Sure, a few of the areas were partially complete, but it was mostly empty, and I still had pretty much the entire game left to make. And this was almost 6 years after starting the project. I needed to make a plan if I was ever going to finish this game. I didn't want to spend another 6 years going nowhere. So I broke out the whiteboard and got to work. First thing was figuring out what the pages do. What if they worked like Mario 64, where after collecting the pages, it kicks you out of the level? I mean, that will really increase the playtime of the game if you have to wait for... Oh, it's not very fun. Fine, let's drop that idea. Well, I need to give the player a goal, and that probably requires dialogue, so let's add a dialogue system. And if I change the health to water droplets, they can get used up when you sing, and that will make things more difficult for... Oh, that's not very fun either. Fine. I'll keep the water droplets, but you only lose them when you get hit. And you can collect water bottles or drink from fountains or something like that to gain health back. That could be interesting. Hey, I mean, at least we're making progress. I could change the main character another time while we're at it. And maybe you don't have all your abilities at the beginning of the game and have to get them back over time. The singing ability could have improvements and unlock things like a Metroidvania. And what if the music notes could affect enemies and objects in the world? Finally, this is a game I want to play. Except, it's still a lot of disjointed puzzles and ideas. I need an ending and a story, plus there's plenty of UI work to be done, and maybe a boss fight or two? But I won't bore you with all those details. That all gets done with time. Whew! The game's finally in a finished state after almost a decade. A lot of those years, this project sat on a shelf waiting to get picked back up again. I mean, it took me a lot longer than I originally anticipated, but hey, that's game development for you. What started as a birthday gift evolved into something I'm excited to share with all of you. I hope that gave you a bit of a glimpse into the chaotic development it went through and get you to know what is now known as Echoes of the Unread. In the next video, I'm gonna dive into the art and music of the game. Oh, and my sister? Yeah, she's been waiting for that sequel to the coffee game for years now. I'll catch you next time.